Hey everybody, so I hope everybody is still having a really good holiday. I hope you're getting lots of reading in, and I hope that you are getting to spend time with family, friends, and all that good stuff. I recently got to finish The Shining. I actually finished it about a month ago, and I've been putting off the review because I really wanted to let it soak in and to think about it. I needed to separate the book from the movie because it's impossible to not compare the two, because while they're the same basic story and premise and setting, they're different. They're completely different. It's like saying that Man of Steel and Superman the movie tell the origins of Superman, but they do it in two completely different ways. So The Shining is written by Stephen King, and it's been built up as one of the most scariest books of all time. It follows this family that is taking care of this hotel during the winter, and they get snowed in. And it turns out that this family has had some really tough times. Jack Torrance is a former alcoholic. He lost his teaching job because he hit a student, and he even broke his son's arm. So he takes up this new job, and he's been sober for quite some time, and his family is on the verge of, kind of coming back together and being a family again. And he's hoping that this job and being away from everything, where they can reconnect. That's what I love about this book, is that the characters are very well realized. You get the full story of Jack Torrance, Wendy, and my favorite character is Danny. Danny, this 8-year-old kid who's got this psychic ability, wasn't like over the top. It felt believable, and it's almost like this ability is a burden to him at times. In fact, it's very inconvenient for him because he doesn't know how to turn it off, because he's just this kid, and it's like dealing with what he learns is called the Shining. He has to actually kind of grow up a little bit to deal with what happens inside of this hotel, and he has to grow up very, very quickly at a young age to sort of help his father and deal with what's going on. And I think the thing for me is, there are tense parts in this book, and I feel like the entire first 300 to 400 pages are this gigantic buildup, and it's written so masterfully that it holds you in this grip, and you're just waiting for the pen to drop, and waiting and waiting. And it's not a sort of waiting where you're bored. It's like you're on the edge of your seat, and you're interested in it because you're just waiting for that moment. And the finale, which is great, very tense, hands down the most suspenseful and scariest part of the book. However, I don't think that it is merely just a scary book. I think it works better as a suspense drama. I view The Shining that it's a good character piece. I mean, it's a good analogy for how alcoholism and the fears of a parent. I read a Stephen King interview where he was talking about his process for writing The Shining, and one of the big inspirations was, his biggest fear as a parent is, what if his anger got out of control? Because I mean, it's very hard to hold yourself together as a parent to understand that your children are, they're just kids. So it's like when they do something dumb, you can't help but you can't help but be mad sometimes. And he pulls that off very, very well. When Jack's regret at breaking his son's arm by accident, and it's heartbreaking stuff. It's good family drama. It's not overdone or boring at any point, because you're just wanting these three people to make amends with each other. And it's very much a redemption story too, because like I said, Jack Torrance is this former alcoholic, and constantly throughout the book he's just like, man, what I wouldn't do for a drink. And the hotel itself and the ghosts inside of it are taking advantage of this, and it slowly drives him mad, and he sort of becomes obsessed with the hotel and obsessed with this job he's supposed to take, and it just brings out all the worst things in him. And it's a good analogy for how addiction and anger and rage just brings out the worst in us as humans, and whereas love and family brings out the best in us. And that's what I really enjoyed about The Shining, is that it represents those two sides of the spectrum without like beating the reader over the head with it. So I would recommend The Shining to as a read for, you know, really anybody. I think it's built up this legacy of being this like really scary thing, and it's not, it has scary moments, but it's more of a tense novel rather than you're constantly scared. But I think that people that don't go for the horror novels can still really enjoy The Shining, and if you're into horror novel, you can definitely appreciate the paranormal aspects of it. But again, it's the characters that make the story, and they're trying to regroup as a family that makes it a overall wonderful read. I absolutely love The Shining. It's one of my favorite King books. I'm glad I finally got around to reading it. So The Shining by Stephen King. Have you read it? Have you seen the movie or the TV series? Comment below, let me know. I'll be doing a vlog about the movie at some point. I want to do something a little bit different for the movie. I just haven't decided what I want to do exactly. I got a couple different ideas, but I am glad I finally got to finish the book and got to talk about it a little bit. As always, if you like what you see here, comment below, subscribe to my channel, ring that bell, and follow me on all those wonderful social media platforms. As always, thank you for watching. Bye.